A founder gathers his team and tells them the truth. We are 30 days from going out of business. The company has almost no money left. Its one product has failed. The industry has moved on without them. That company was Nvidia. And that sentence, 30 days from death, he would repeat, in different forms, for the next 30 years. The world now calls Jensen Huang lucky, that he simply happened to be sitting on the right chips when artificial intelligence arrived. But that story is a lie of convenience. Nvidia did not stumble onto a wave. For 3 decades, one man kept walking his company straight up to the edge of the cliff on purpose. He wore black. He signed his emails with the same brutal urgency. And he built one of the most valuable companies on earth by refusing to feel safe for a single day. What Jensen understood about survival, risk, and fear is something almost no comfortable person ever learns. Let me show you. To understand the man, go back to the beginning. A boy sent from Taiwan to America, dropped at a rough boarding school by mistake, cleaning toilets, sharing a room with older, harder kids. Later, he washed dishes at a diner and was, by his own account, the best dishwasher they ever had. He didn't learn ambition there. He learned something rarer: how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Years later, in a roadside diner, 3 engineers sketched an idea on a napkin, a chip that could make computers draw entire worlds. They were betting that one day, everyone would want realistic graphics. In the early 90s, that was not obvious. It was almost foolish. They named the company Nvidia, and within a few years, that foolish bet nearly killed them. So here is the question at the heart of this story. Why do some people crumble under existential risk, while others seem to feed on it? How do you build something that lasts 30 years, when you spend most of those years nearly dying? Jensen's answer wasn't confidence. It wasn't even genius. It was a strange, deliberate relationship with the fear of death itself. Their first real chip had failed. They had bet on the wrong technical standard, and the market rejected it. Nearly out of cash, Jensen made a decision that should have been reckless. He laid off most of the company and poured the last of the money into building the next chip before they could even test it properly. There was no safety net. If it failed, Nvidia was over. He shipped it anyway. The chip worked. It sold. Nvidia survived and then thrived through the gaming boom. Most founders, having escaped death once, would finally relax. Build the moat. Enjoy the win. Jensen did the opposite. He treated every success as temporary and started hunting for the next thing that could kill him before it found him first. That instinct is what most people get catastrophically wrong. Around 2006, Nvidia made a bet that baffled Wall Street. They began turning their gaming chips into general computing machines, a platform they called CUDA. It cost billions. For years, it had almost no obvious customers. Investors called it a waste. The stock suffered. Jensen was building a bridge to a shore no one else could yet see, and he kept funding it through nearly a decade of doubt. And then, in a lab far from Silicon Valley, a handful of researchers quietly plugged Nvidia's gaming chips into an experiment in artificial intelligence. What happened next, no one at Nvidia had planned for. But because Jensen had spent a decade building that unwanted bridge, he was the only one standing when the entire world suddenly needed to cross it. The researchers discovered that Nvidia's chips could train neural networks hundreds of times faster than anything else. Almost overnight, the strange, expensive platform nobody wanted became the engine of the entire AI revolution. Jensen didn't get lucky in that moment. He had prepaid for that luck, with 10 years of conviction, while everyone told him to stop. 2,000 years earlier, the Stoic Seneca wrote that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Jensen lived that sentence at industrial scale. He could not predict when the wave would come, but he made absolutely certain that when it did, his company would already be standing in the water. Fortune favors the prepared, but only the brave are willing to prepare for years with nothing to show for it. Even as Nvidia became one of the most valuable companies in history, Jensen refused to celebrate. He is known for a single, haunting phrase: "I am always 30 days from going out of business." It sounds like paranoia. It is actually discipline. He engineered a culture where comfort is the enemy, and complacency is the only fatal disease. The moment you feel safe, he believes, is the moment you begin to die. Speaking to graduates, he said something that stunned the room. He wished upon them pain and suffering, not out of cruelty, because he knew that resilience, the real kind, is not built in comfort. It is forged in the years when everything is on fire and you keep showing up anyway. Greatness, in his view, is not the absence of hardship. It is character carved by it. Here is the paradox at the center of it all. Jensen was never fearless. He was terrified strategically. Most people fear the wrong thing. They fear discomfort, risk, looking foolish. So they cling to safety and slowly become obsolete. Jensen feared only one thing: irrelevance, and he let that single fear push him toward every risk worth taking. And here is what this means for you. This morning, in whatever you're building or afraid to build, you don't need a chip company to use Jensen's mind. You need to ask a harder question than, how do I stay safe? You need to ask, what am I quietly becoming obsolete at while I feel comfortable? Because comfort, right now, may be the most expensive thing you own. So do what Jensen does. Run your own 30-day death drill. Take your career, your business, your main source of income, and ask, if this had to collapse in 30 days, what would kill it first? Write down that threat. Then, instead of hiding from it, spend one real hour this week, building the bridge toward whatever comes after it. Fear the right thing, and it becomes fuel. Then borrow his second habit. Build one bridge to a shore no one else believes in yet. A skill, a project, a bet that looks pointless today and could be everything in 10 years. Fund it quietly. Protect it from the people who call it a waste. Jensen spent a decade on a bridge to nowhere. It became the road the whole world now drives on. Your small, unfashionable bet may be your CUDA. Do these two things: name the threat, build the bridge, and something shifts inside you. Fear stops being a wall and becomes a compass. You stop protecting who you are and start preparing for who you must become. And like Jensen, you discover that the edge of the cliff is where the view finally opens. So remember 3 things. 1. Fear irrelevance, not discomfort, and let it move you. 2. Treat every success as temporary and keep hunting what could kill you next. 3. Build the bridge before the world knows it needs one. Survival, it turns out, is not about avoiding the edge. It is about learning to live there without flinching. 30 years ago, a man told his team they were 30 days from death, and then he chose to live that way on purpose for the rest of his life. Not in panic, in readiness. That is why, when the wave finally came, he was already standing in the water. If this way of thinking speaks to you, subscribe and stay a while. We sit here often, with the calm and the timeless. The world called it luck. It was 30 years of almost dying on purpose.